this lovely looking article is the fuel tank, and as you might be able to see, it is in superb condition. It's lovely. I gotta be honest with you, there's barely a mark on it, and it's got the old you know, thing that, oh, it's such a nice piece of equipment. And it's quite a big tank overall. It's just that, yeah, that's the, oh yes. But obviously, because this has been stood for a considerable amount of time, you can see that we're probably going to have a few issues. Let's have a look. Let's get in there and, you know, see what we're dealing with, because I got a fairly sort of, like, you know, good idea of what we're going to be up against. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. And well, I've seen a lot worse. You know, I've seen a hell of a lot worse. So we've got some pitting, we've got some flakes of rust in there. Let's go down and have a look towards the petcock area. Hang on, petcock area, which is I think it's over there. Yeah. So what I'm inclined to do, and that's a gauze and filter, which may or may not be in serviceable condition. But these are the pipes here as well, which I'm not entirely sure of what they actually do. Anyway, okay, let's go down this side. Let's have a see what we got down this side. So overall, the tank is in excellent condition. I thought it was going to be flaky as hell in here, and it's actually not. Oh, we've got a patch there, yeah. So there is some corrosion in here. I think the best thing to do with that is we're going to clean it out with some degreaser. We're going to hit it with a bit of citric acid. Leave that cook for a couple of hours, and then we're going to clean it out, dry it out, and we're going to add, right, I got to make sure that we got all the pipes, and I'm going to get that petcock out of there, but we're going to give it a shot with this. And I've used this stuff before, and some people think it's the best thing since sliced bread. Other people think it's dreadful stuff and you should use epoxy. I don't think we need to use epoxy. I've used this stuff before, and as long as you do it right, it's fantastic. Right, this stuff's got to be good. It makes you cough when you use it. So up the temperature a bit. I don't like sticking my fingers in a hole and them coming out orange. But that appears to be what is happening. So there is some sort of overflow and vent system on it, but now this should work. Now that's worrying. Well, that's reserve. All of the cleaning done and the citric done prior to. But we've got to get that filter out before we do any of the tank sealing, because that will not allow it to work properly. Yeah. That seems to be running pretty clear now. Ah, there it is. Right then. So we've got to get that out there. Okay. Sweet. We've had a good go at cleaning out and, you know, degreasing and one thing or another. I mean, it smells loads better. We're going to get rid of the rust, get rid of the corrosion, or as much of it as we can. You could buy a kit. You could buy, there's a POR kit that's got prep, so you've got a degreaser and you've got something that then etches the tank, covers it in zinc or something or other, having disabled or converted the rust. Well, it's expensive, you know. So I got another solution, and some people use vinegar, some people use soda, some people. I like to use citric acid because it's not that, should we say, dangerous. We're now in a position to get the acid in there and get that cooking, you know. And like I said, we've got to do this sequentially. And we've got to be able to do it all step by step, because we'll leave the acid in there for 3-4 hours or until something interesting happens. Then once we've cleaned that out, we've got to be on it, right? We've got to do it properly. When we are good to go with all that, we're rinsing it off and we're drying it out. It needs to be a continuous process, because we then need to get that in there as soon as possible and get it round in one thing or another and what have you. We're going to have a look inside here now and see what we're looking like after we've cleaned everything out, because the vast majority of the crap should have come out. There's always going to be a little bit in there, because we're not, you know, we're not going in and let's get the old scope down it. It's loads cleaner, isn't it? You can see a few patches. I think that we won't have that citric in there for very long at all, and it's more about the surface prep now than anything else. I think that we're going to be okay with this. Right. Oh, packed with love. And of course, you know, made in China. Packed in the UK though, you know. So, yeah. Now, I've been told that it's very important to get the concentration right on this. Right? It's got to be perfect. It's got to be specific. You know, because science. Remember, so like I said, we've got to have a very specific concentration. Oh no, that's way too much. Perfect. Good God, that's sharp. There's a vent that goes all the way down there, so I now understand what one of the tubes is for. Need to maintain the science, don't we? So let's just measure this out. Oh, way too much. We're not leaking from there, so. Oh. Nice and warm. Oh, I can see it starting to pull some stuff off. Ah. Oops. It's a good thing we use science on this. Right. Let's get a towel over that, give it a fighting chance to stay warm. And now we let it cook. Right then, so we've been cooking now, I think it's about 2.5 hours, and I thought, you know, I'll take a cheeky look. So let's switch to the proboscis viewing apparatus. Where is that? Oh, there's the water level. You should instantly be able to see the changing colour. Now that's the there you go. Right, that's still under the water, but you remember that was all yellowy, reddy, greeny, orangey? Well, it's not anymore, is it? So that's done a pretty damn good job. And it's not 100% perfect, but it's never going to be, because I mean, it's like that's in there. It's probably a thicker bit of rust that it's just not going to eat through. But you should be able to see that it's had a fantastic effect on cleaning the surface, and that is pretty damn good. I'm pretty pleased with that. In fact, I'm going to leave it another 20 or 30 minutes, and then I'm going to rinse this, and we're going to rinse it with another degreaser, which has got a it's a bit of an alkali degreaser. I think it's a Jenny Chem degreaser, but I'm going to use that, and then we're going to wash it out and dry it, and go to the next stage. 1 to 50. Perfect. We'll have a look at the colour. It should be quite orangey. Oh. Ooh. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Ow, that stings. Well, bearing in mind that went in clear, you can see what we're working with here. Now let's put that back in there. Oh, stingy. There we go. All right. Oh. Right, we're going to allow and cook for a little while. Now, because of the shape of what's going on inside the tank, there is obviously a bit that sticks up a little bit. So to get all of the water out of there, you're going to struggle, you know? It's not going to naturally sort of drain out. So what I like to do in instances like this, oh, that's so much cleaner, is I like to use a bit more chemistry, you know, not too much, not too much, not too much. And what that does, right, is kind of mixes with the water a bit, or any moisture that's left in there, right, and it evaporates off a lot easier. It's important now, and it is the critical point in there, that if we do not dry this out ASAP and properly, then we're going to get flash rust, and that's the last thing we want. That's the last thing I want. Right. Yeah, I am more than happy with the result of that. So it's not 100% perfect in terms of, but it's still, how much better is it than it was? So now what we're going to do is we'll give it a little bit more time to give it a bit more of another blast with the hairdryer, and then we're going to administer the sealer. We've plugged the only hole at the bottom, but I'm not worried about it coming out at the top because there's a ridge all the way around there, and it's just not going to come out. And we need to monitor what's going on. So once we do this, and this is open, that's it, because this stuff, as soon as it hits here, it starts reacting. Now I'm not using a 2-pack or an epoxy because for the same reason I didn't want it to and I've used this before and I've had more than enough success with it. So there we go, and it's nice and thin at the moment. So here we go, here we go, here we go, and in we go. Now, if I remember rightly, we have got about 10 to 15 minutes of workability with this. You can see where it initially contacted. Actually, I don't know if you can see or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a really good kick round and what have you, and we're going to have to be extra special careful with everything. Look at that. There you go. That's in the front end of it now. So we've got a little bit more to work around the edges and the seams, and then we can let it rest. So there's your lined tank. Now we've got a little pool at the bottom there, so we're going to switch it round once more and we're going to get it nice and look at that, because it's going off nice now. It goes like glass, this stuff. It's quite remarkable. We're going to have a little bit more of one more roll round, and then we're going to leave it. Now this stuff takes 4 days to go off, 96 hours they say. Oops. So we're going to give it 96 hours. This is why I needed to do it like fairly soon in the overall sort of process, is because in all honesty you don't rush this. You've got to put your time and effort into it. So we're going to give it more raw. The other thing we're going to do is, before it actually goes too hard, we're going to pull this out, because we don't want that to get stuck in there, but we also don't want the stuff running out the hole and blocking it up, do we? Because there's nothing worse than a blocked hole. So good to anyone. Here we go. A nice coated tank. And like I said, I've used this stuff before and it goes off like bloody glass. So yeah, I'm more than happy with that. Camera on the endoscope doesn't do it justice. This is nice. Alright, so hopefully when that goes off, and it'll go hard within the next couple of hours, but it takes 4 or 5 days for it to fully cure, you know, like this. And once that's done, it goes back to being usable. But in the meantime, we have to let it here, and it's going to be stinking up the shed for a couple of days. Cool. It's alright, that.